You ever stop and think why people actually buy from you? Well, the number one reason why people buy from you is because your product helps them achieve some kind of desire. And in so doing, that desire is something that they can't achieve because they have some kind of problem. When it comes to why people actually buy from you, they buy from you because you solve a problem. And that problem actually has 3 different types. Most marketers only use one of these 3 types, and that's why a lot of their marketing is so ineffective. But if you can use 2 or even 3 all wrapped up into your marketing message, you're gonna be that much more effective as a marketer. So the first one is an external problem. An external problem is something that's on the surface and is fairly obvious. We'll get into examples of all 3 of these. This is the one that most marketers use. The second one, and really probably the most powerful one, especially when you start doing deep dive research into your avatar and really understanding how they feel, how they think, not just who they are and where they live and what their gender is the internal problem. This is the thing that keeps them up at night. It's not necessarily the way in which you've probably marketed your products, but if you can actually tap into that internal desire or internal problem and how your product or service solves that internal problem, you're gonna be that much closer to really being effective as a marketer. The last one, and probably the most undervalued one, at least the one that I've seen in 20 years of doing this, is the philosophical problem. This is some kind of greater good. That usually is something that's answered with a question like an ought or a should. All people ought to blank. All people should blank. Moms like me should be able to blank. So let's get into the examples of each one of these. External problem of one of our customers is it's a lawn care company. They actually sell lawn services. They also sell ways in which to rid their lawn of mosquitoes, as well as a number of other services, all through local franchisees. And the biggest problem, the external problem that they have, is they have weeds. Weeds need to get destroyed, and so their service actually is a weed killing service, among other things. So that's the external problem. Make your lawn weed free is a sort of an easy way to sell this, tapping into that external problem. But the real way to sell this particular service isn't just by going after the external problem, it's actually thinking about what the internal problem is. Now, in this particular case, for a lawn service, it's the embarrassment of having the ugliest lawn on the block. Or maybe having bragging rights to every one of your neighbors that you have the greenest, most luscious, beautiful lawn. So that internal desire, or that internal problem, is one that we certainly hit on in our advertising, in our copy, in our images, as well as in our videos and all sorts of things. Now, the third side of this is, well, remember, is philosophical problems. And this is usually answered with an ought or a should statement. In this case, if you can tap into this philosophical problem while also marrying external and internal, now you're really cooking with gas here. And this is when advertising really starts to be very, very effective. So in this case, it might be the philosophical problem of community. Contributing to the beautification of a beautiful neighborhood, feeling good about the environment in which you live, not necessarily just having bragging rights, but also feeling good about not only your neighbors, but the town that you live in, some kind of like local pride. By contributing to that, by having a beautiful lawn, this customer is able to actually achieve all the big desires, but most importantly, solve all 3 external, internal, and philosophical problems. So let's think of another example here. So my good friend Ryan McKenzie sells a product called True Earth, and it is actually a laundry detergent. So the external problem is pretty clear cut. It's clothes are dirty. Our product gets your clothes clean. That's the external problem. Pretty straightforward. The internal problem and this is the one that they use really well in their marketing, the person who's buying the product actually is providing for their family. In this case, it's usually moms. I wouldn't necessarily say it's always moms, but in a lot of cases it is moms. And they are providing for their family to provide clean clothes, being a good mom, tapping into that in their marketing. And that's where they really start to really gain some traction. So they add that into their marketing as well. The last and most important one, especially with this one, is the name of the product is called True Earth. And what it does is actually, it's a great product. It's actually a continuity product, brilliant from this guy. But the point is it's a laundry detergent where all the water is taken out and it's in these little packets or these little wafers. So the philosophical problem that this solves is that they are saving the planet from plastics, creating those huge Tide bottles that we all buy at the supermarket into this tiny, condensed, small packaging, these little wafers that you actually put into your washing machine and make your clothes clean. So in their marketing, they tie all three of these problems into their marketing messages, which makes it extremely effective. And you can actually, we'll leave links in the notes here to actually show you some of the videos that they've done. It's really actually a great product. So this is not something that's brand new in marketing, nor is it really brand new in story, just the concept of creating story. Movies use this all the time. One of the best examples is in Star Wars. So Luke Skywalker, who's sort of the main character in the first Star Wars A New Hope, which is Star Wars 4, even though it's not the first one, it's the fourth one, because it's the sequel, which eventually came out later, is that he really wondered, like his external problem is, all right, I need to defeat the Empire. I need to help defeat the Empire. The second internal problem is, do I have what it takes? Do I actually have what it takes to be a Jedi to conquer and to defeat Darth Vader, who at that point in time in the movie doesn't realize that he's actually his father. And then the third most important problem is the philosophical problem of good versus evil. And when he actually is in that trench and fires the laser gun into the little opening and the whole Death Star destroys, all of those three problems come together and are solved all at once in the story of Star Wars. And that's why Star Wars is such a classic movie. So if you can solve all three types of problems for your customers, whether you're a screenwriter in Hollywood or whether you're a marketer online, and you can tie that all together into a cohesive marketing message, that's when your messaging and that's when your advertising and that's when your marketing is really going to resonate with your target market. Because after all, problems are the things that your product or service solves so your prospect can achieve their desire. So remember this when you're doing your marketing, remember this when you're crafting your messaging, and stay tuned for more videos like this one. Like, share, comment below, or subscribe to this channel to get more videos just like this one.